What's up YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back, and today I think I'm going to have a fun one for you guys. What you see in front of you is $350 worth of change. We've got $175 worth of customer wrapped rolls. That's 10 rolls of each denomination from pennies to quarters, and 10 rolls each from pennies to quarters of Loomis wrapped rolls. So we're doing a little this versus that, or customer wrapped versus Loomis wrapped, and we're going to see which performs better for us today, because I do get the question quite frequently, should I get bank rolls or should I focus on those customer rolls? So we're doing a little versus battle. I'm looking forward to getting into it, and anything we find today may also be going into our albums. So if we do find some cool stuff, we'll be sure to pull out our albums and fill those holes. So with that, let's jump into it. All right, well, we're going to start with the customer wrapped pennies and then move on to the Loomis wrapped pennies so we can do a head-to-head comparison as we go through. If you are new to penny hunts, I do have a document description down below this video where embedded in there is a little penny hunting mat. I do also highly recommend that if you don't have one of these, that you invest in it, and it is the Strike It Rich with Pocket Change book, and I will have a link in the description down below to my Amazon affiliate link for this book, but it is fantastic for giving you both values and pictures of what you're looking for. If you are new to coin roll hunting, you are going to want some sort of microscope, and I also have links to those in the description down below. We'll of course have our handy dandy scale here, because we'll need to be able to weigh stuff to make sure it's copper, which would be 1982 and earlier, but 82 is a split year, and so you need to weigh them to make sure you've got copper versus zinc. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of open one or two rolls here real quick, and we're going to look for Wheaties really quickly. That's one of the main things we're hoping to find, but of course there's tons of little mint errors and varieties that we're hoping to find along the way. That's a 62, 79, and if I happen to find any DDOs, DDRs, wide AMs, any of that kind of good stuff, we will of course bring you in and show you that stuff and compare it to the pictures in the book or compared to pictures online. Typically in my penny hunts, especially when I do bank boxes, I only get these days between about 6 and 8 wheat pennies a box. So I am not hopeful that we'll find too many wheat pennies today, but who knows? So nothing in these first two rolls. I'm going to go back through them, look at the face and the reverse of each and every penny. We will be pulling our copper, because copper right now is at least 3 cents per penny, so we want to hang on to all of that as well. And I'll bring you in as soon as we find something interesting. We've got roll number 6 out, and it's our first kind of find. As I was spreading them out here, we did see something that didn't belong, and it is a really old and cruddy dime, but hey, I just made 9 cents on this roll. Looks like we've got a 2005 Philly. Now, I did pull a single 2009 Professional Life. Now, this was the commemorative year, 2009. They did Philly and Denver's, and they did 4 special reverse designs on those. And then I've pulled a 2024 D and possibly one other book upgrade. And I've got a little bit of copper pile going here, but other than that, the pennies have been quiet. So we finished getting through all of our customer wrap pennies, and I've got a lot of stuff laid out here that we pulled from those. Nothing terribly special, but I did want to take you through what I pulled and explain why. Over here, you'll see our copper pennies. Now, we've got 70 of these. These are in stacks of 10. Now, copper weight on those, based on today's copper price of $4.29 a pound, this is $1.95 worth of copper for effectively 70 cents worth of pennies. Over here, I did pull, and this isn't included in the count, a couple of more of our red or nicer looking copper pennies. We're going to see if those are upgrades for our book. I also do roll these separately. I keep kind of the red copper separate from the brown copper. We did get that one dime that was misstuffed. We got a couple of the 2009 commemoratives. We got 2 of the formative years, 1 of the Professional Life. And then I got a couple of stunners like a 94, a 2024 D. We're going to check these against our album when we're done doing the pennies to see if any of these are upgrades. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set all of this aside and see how that compares to what would have happened had I just gone to the bank and gotten these Loomis rolls. So let's go ahead and get one of these penny rolls unwrapped. That looks like brand new pennies, or at least we've got some brand new enders. Let's go ahead and start with this one and see what this roll looks like. See if we have any wheat pennies in here. See how it looks a little bit different than our customer wrapped. Now with 70 copper pennies out of those 10 rolls, really 74, that's almost a full roll and a half of copper out of 10 rolls, which isn't so bad. I don't know if I'll do as well in these bank wrapped ones, but we're going to keep count and we will see. So we definitely have some copper in here. Just checking for wheat pennies real quick. There's an 82 copper. Something really nice looking, 2017. 92. So no Wheaties in this one, a handful of copper. We're going to check all that out, and I will bring you in probably at the end of the pennies unless we find something interesting along the way. Well, we couldn't find one in our customer wrap rolls, but 4 rolls in on our bank wrapped, we've come across our first wheat penny, which is one of the things we get excited about when we hunt pennies. See what we got here, a 1950 Denver, and I'm not seeing any kind of variety on that on my checklist here, so we'll put it on the board. We've got 1 wheat penny on the hunt, which I'm excited about. We're going to keep on hunting, and I guess while I have you, we have 1 2009, 1 2024 Denver, and our copper pile is adding up. Still on roll number 4 here, bringing you in, not because it's anything too special, it's just something I don't find a lot of, and that is these kind of early 70s San Francisco minted pennies, and this one's in pretty good shape. I would say this one's red. It is circulated, but it's still a decent looking penny, and what I do like about these kind of 72, 73 San Franciscos is they're pretty low mintage. I was looking at Redbook already. This one's like 317 million. Whereas the 1973 Philly, it's like 3.7 billion of them made. So super low mintage penny here. It'll go in my red copper, and I'll definitely be checking it for an upgrade for my penny albums. So we've got into roll number 6, and we've got our next find. It is a 1940 wheat penny. So in my book, so far the Loomis rolls are winning. They're not producing as much copper. But like I said, one of the main reasons I like to do this is I'm trying to fill up my albums, and I really need to start finding more wheat pennies. I think I've already got this 1940, but it's still exciting to finally get a few. All the way up here on roll number 9, just 3 coins from the end, and we've got a 3rd wheat penny. It's an ugly one. What do we have here? We got ourselves a 1955 Denver, which is pretty cool. It has seen better days, but our 3rd wheat penny out of 10 rolls of bank wrap coins is pretty darn good. So we have reached the end of our Loomis wrapped penny hunt, and here in front of you is everything that we pulled out of those 10 rolls, and we're going to do a little comparison to what we got out of our customer wrap rolls. I have a few notes here that I'll be reading from, and I do want to show you one thing that I discovered while I was going through my book fills and or upgrades. But spoiler alert, the Loomis wrapped rolls are going to win this competition. One, because we got more copper pennies out of the 10 rolls of bank wrapped rolls than we did out of the customer wrapped. We had, if I did the math right on these, if I added them all up, we had 90 in total between our standard copper and any of the nice red copper we pulled, plus our wheat pennies. So just value of copper alone, it was $1.95 in the customer wrapped and $2.52 worth of copper in the bank wrap. So it was 74 coppers versus 90 coppers. We also found 3 wheat pennies, so a 1940, a 1955 Denver, which I did have in order, and we had ourselves a 19, which was this? This was a 1950 Denver, so I did have them out of order. So 3 wheat pennies out of our Loomis wrap is going to win from a Wheatie perspective. We also, I believe we got 1 more nice red copper penny. We did get 1 extra 2009 out of our customer wrapped. We only got 2 out of our bank wrapped, and I had 3 potential book upgrades. None of them actually upgraded anything, but what I want to show you here is this 1980D is pretty darn nice, and it is going to be an upgrade, or should I say a book fill, as I was going through my book, and you will see that the 1980D spot that I punched down was in fact a 1981D. So I need to fix that. I punched down the wrong coin in my book, so I have a book filler, not a book upgrade. So again, if that all didn't make sense, I've got it on this sheet of paper if you want to pause the video and take a quick look. I'm going to say, like I said, the bank wrapped are going to win simply because, and I didn't actually even write it on here, we had 3 wheat pennies that we didn't have in our customer wrapped up here. So we're going to go ahead and move on to these nickels and see how customer wrapped versus bank wrapped does there. All right, well, here we go. Let's actually open up maybe 2 or 3 rolls of these nickels and see if we can find any silver war nickels or anything interesting that jumps out at us just from doing a quick cursory look of these coins. Now, we will also be looking for things like V nickels and buffalo nickels. Let's see here. That's just ugly. That's a current buffalo nickel, so nothing there. It's a 2005 buffalo nickel. Or bison nickel, as the case may be. All right, I'm making a mess over here. Let's just take a quick swipe through. Looks like an 84. Now, in nickels, typically anything before 1960 we consider a find. So we will be pulling all of those. But the main things that we're really hungry for are those errors, varieties, and war nickels, which are 1942 to 1945. And they will be slightly different color. And they will have a mint mark above the Monticello building rather than beside it. Like the pennies, I will go back through these looking for those varieties and errors. I'm just going to open one more so you guys can see it on camera, and then I will hunt until I find something of interest. Just looking at edges here. All right, nothing jumping out. That one's kind of ugly. It's a 1960. All right, nothing there. Well, let me actually take a closer look at these, and I'll be sure to bring you in as soon as we find something interesting. Bring you in all the way up here on roll number 8. We're, I don't know, about halfway through the roll, and it's not for this nickel. It's the one I have under the scope, and I have covered this on previous nickel videos, but on the, actually, let me show it to you. On the 2023 Philly, there are about 100, I'm making up that number, it's a bunch, of double die reverses, and I'm going to show you the really easy way to know you've got one is in these bottom sort of door and window sills. You'll see an extra sill down here, and this one's pretty weak. I have found much nicer ones of these, but you'll see we've got an extra C on here. We've got the top of an extra T, a little bit of an extra I, and this is not your traditional like strike doubling or machine doubling that you've heard of. Now, the really nice versions of these, they'll be a little bit stronger doubling across all the letters, kind of in the N, T, I, C, and the E. This is very minor. But again, for me, the telltale sign is when you get this doubling in the door. Make sure you're checking those letters. I don't think there's a lot of value in these because there's so many. I did a hunt, I don't know now, probably a month or 2 ago, and I found about a dozen of these in a box. But it's just something to look out for if you're not. It's just something fun to find. I like finding them, and it's our first kind of major thing on our customer wrap nickels because it's mainly been 2020s through 2023s. The earliest nickel I found so far is in 1962, so nothing special so far in these guys right here. All right, well, those were some of the worst customer wrap nickels I think I've probably ever been through. We did have that one 2023 Philly with the double die reverse. We'll be setting that aside. These Loomis rolls won't have to work too hard to beat those, but I'll say in the Atlanta area, nickels are pretty tough when they're customer wrapped. They're either really good or they're really bad, and today was just really bad. I'm going to go ahead and open 2 rolls on camera, and we'll just kind of rifle through them real quick to see if we have any oldies, any buffaloes, any war nickels, anything like that. Because it's always fun doing that together, especially if we find something cool like some silver. That guy was a little off color. I was hoping we would have something there. It's a 1960. So getting close. We want anything 1959 and earlier. Didn't see anything old there. Let's go ahead and look at roll number 2. See what that looks like. All right, so for me, whenever I get a roll open and I see something that's a little miscolored or chipped away at, I always get excited by those. Again, simply because war nickels have just a slightly different tone to them. Just because they are 35% silver. They're, obviously older coins, and they kind of stand out like a sore thumb usually. What's really cool is when they don't, because then you have usually like a mint state type situation on your hands, so the coins can be worth a little bit more money. So with that, not seeing anything old in here, but I'm going to go back through them. We'll look for those varieties and things, and I'll keep on heading through these Loomis rolls, and hopefully we find a few things to bring you in for. So just busted into roll number 3, and it did have one of those old enders that I kind of probably showed off earlier in the video. I've already looked at the face to be sure. As you can see on the back, we've got a Denver mint mark, and we are close to the end of the run for us. This is a 1958 Denver. 59 Denver, or 59 Philly and Denver would be the last one we care about. So we'll put that up here on the board as our first find in the Loomis wrapped rolls. So same roll, just a couple of nickels later, we've got our next find. It came up obverse facing. We've got ourselves a 1954. Now, I think the Denver and the San Francisco have some varieties. The Philly does not. So let's see what we have here. We've got a Philly, no mint mark right over here. So 1954 to go with our 1958. So roll number 5, and we're having a little bit more fun because we're finding things that we want to hang on to. We've got ourselves a 1954. What do we have this time? We've got ourselves a Denver, and if I'm not mistaken, there is a repunched mint mark out there for the 54 Denver. Got a little piece of metal right there. I'm going to have to look at my book and compare that against some pictures because most of the repunched mint marks end up being inside the D, so I will be right back. Okay, well, I went ahead and got into my Strike It Rich book, and as you can see here, that D sits, or at least the repunch mint mark, sits way low inside the D, and as it says over here, a lot of people originally thought it was like a D over S. Mine, when I zoom way, way in, that little piece right there that I thought was metal is actually just a clean spot in all of this dirt. So, just a regular 54D. False alarm. Getting into roll number 6, and we've got a foreign. This time, we've got a Canadian nickel, a 1987. I like to call them beaver nickels. We got Queen Elizabeth there. I'm struggling to flip this over. Queen Elizabeth there on the front. We got a little bit of tarnish on there, but a nice little foreign on the hunt. Well, as you can see, I've got the dimes on the ready, and it's because we are done with those Loomis wrapped nickels. And quick recap, we didn't find a whole lot. We did have 4 finds, though. We had 1 Canadian. We have a 54 Denver, a 54 Philly, or vice versa, and a 1958 Denver. So if we went on numbers of finds, I would say the Loomis rolls won. If we go based on maybe what's cooler to find, the customer wrapped having that DDR, which I left over here, which was that 2023 Philly, that could be the winner to you. Now, in general, in the Atlanta area, I tend to get more finds in my nickel boxes than I do in customer wrap nickels. However, my biggest scores ever with nickels have been from customer wrapped. So when I first got into nickels, I had a huge score from a Wells Fargo. The video's on my channel. It's one of the first things I ever, I think, live streamed. It was pretty bad. But I found just tons of rolls of war nickels and buffalo nickels and all kinds of good stuff. So this time, I'm actually going to declare the winner of the Loomis rolls because I'd rather find more stuff than this one 2023 Philly because I've already found so many of those, and honestly, they're not that hard to find. I like these because sitting back there, I'm still trying to fill up my rolls of each individual year from 1938 to 1954, both Philly and Denver. So for me, the winner this time, like I said, Loomis, but your mileage will vary. Perhaps you would have rather had the DDR. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get into these dimes. I'm going to put the camera up on top of the rack, and we'll open a couple, 2 or 3 rolls together. So here we go. Now, for dimes, if you've ever seen me hunt dimes, there's not a whole lot to look for, at least in my opinion. The 96W is a big deal. I've never found one. There's obviously San Francisco proofs that you could look for out there. There's a couple of proof reverses like the 68, 69, and I believe the 70. Dimes are small, and they typically hurt my eyes to look at for long periods of time. So I don't typically hunt them. However, I did in one of my last videos show off this cool little magnifying glass that I recently bought. I will probably go back and hunt through at least half of these rolls off camera, and if I find anything, I'll be sure to bring you in. But the main thing that I look for when I look at dimes is looking for that 90% silver. It will have a solid silver edge, and they are worth, I don't know, $253 a piece. And look at that. I just got done talking about it, and this roll is loaded with silver dimes. Hopefully you guys can see them. I'll pull them out one at a time, and we'll take a look. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I was talking about the silver, and it just appeared. So the first one, we've got, I can't tell if there's a mint mark, but we got a 1957 silver dime. Here's another one. We got a 1964. These are all 90%. This looks like another 1964. Did I look? Oh, we got a D on that first one. The second one's a Philly. If we keep coming down, here's the next one. Actually, a pretty darn nice 1962. That's wonderful. The next one is also silver. 1964, we have another Denver. That's 5. Here's 2 more back to back. I could see them. Looks like we've got a 64 Philly and a 64 Denver. So 2 more. This is honestly guys, this is the craziest roll of dimes I've ever gotten. Normally I get 1 or 2. This is 7 in one roll, and we still have more to get through. I want to try not to miss any. I've got more down here on the end, starting right there. And again, if you're curious, you can see that solid silver in there. That's what you're looking for. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left, I think. So we've got a 62 Philly. We've got a 63, looks like a Denver. A little mint mark down there. Oh, next to the bottom of the stalk. Right down here in the corner, if you were unfamiliar with where to look. Let's see here. I don't think there's any more in there. Nope. Right here, we've got 2 more. Another 1964. That looks like another Denver. And this guy right here, a 1947 Denver. That's a bit older. Now, I don't know my older dimes if there's anything to find in those. From a variety, because I don't find that many silver. So I'll check my pocket change book, and if there is, we'll be sure to check that out. And I'll bring in if we find something. But that looks like that was 5, 7. Oh, shoot. I think that was 11, if I did the math right there. 5. Come on. Plus 5. That's 11 silver dimes in one roll of customer wrap. So everything I just said about nickels, it just came true that every now and then you're going to get a great customer wrapped roll. I have done videos on the channel of 4 boxes of dimes and not found a single silver. So getting 4 of them in one roll is pretty amazing. And I see more in this roll. All right, this might be a long part of the video. Hopefully I can find a way to shorten up those pennies and those pennies and those nickels, because this is the good stuff. So, and I'm going to do my best not to miss anything. We've got another 64. We've got a 54. Wait, 54 what? 54 Philly. It's a 2006. Got another one right here. There's a 64. What else do we have? I'm like shaking over here. I've never found so many silver dimes in one place. I'm going to have to go back to this bank and see if they have more rolls. This is crazy. We've got a 63 Philly. We've got a 59, it looks like. That looks like it's got a little paper on it. I can probably get that off without damaging the coin more than it already is. Couple more. We got a 54 Philly. Another one right here. This one's chewed up. We got a 58. That looks like a Denver. Looks like it's been through like a clamp or something. We've got, now that looked like silver. Did I miss it? Oh, I hope I didn't just throw it in the... Hang on, guys. Hopefully I didn't just miss one. I could have swore I had one more silver. Well, I'll go back through these just to be sure I didn't miss anything. But I could have swore one more of those was silver. I guess not. All right. Well, for me just opening 2 or 3 rolls, that's not going to happen. We're going to keep going through these things live. And if I need to, I will fast forward and add some music or something like that. But this is exciting. This is the best dimes I've ever had. Woo! This is cool. All right, well, nothing there. So I may have fast forwarded through that, or I'll just cut to the end. We will see how I edit that together, but I'm going to go back through this really quickly. No silver there. I will go back through these in case I missed anything. I'll also point that out, but assuming I don't miss anything, this was a tremendous number of silver dimes and 10 rolls of customer wrapped. I can tell you the Loomis wrapped have no shot of beating this. This is amazing. We had 5, 10, 15. We had 18 silver dimes and 10 customer wrapped rolls, so $1.80. And we know that $1.40, give or take, in 90% silver is a troy ounce, give or take. So there is over $33 in silver in that set of dimes that we just picked up, which is absolutely amazing. All right, I'm going to clean this up. If we find anything, I'll bring you back in. Otherwise, we're going to head into those Loomis wrapped dimes. So as you can see, we've got the Loomis rolls ready, and I came across one oddity as I was going back through those dimes, making sure I didn't miss any silver and looking for that 1996W. This looks like a post-mint damage coin, the scratch through there. I am not sure. If you've seen anything like this, let me know. But it also looks like a really bad grease strike or somebody polishing the crap out of this thing. But I know very little about a dime that would look like this, outside of it being a really bad grease strike. So if you're familiar with what this might be, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. I'll keep looking at it, see if I can see anything like this on eBay or in any of my other coin resources. But this could turn out to be pretty cool too. It looks like a 1990-something Philly. Maybe a 91 or a 94, maybe a 91. But kind of interesting looking. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the Loomis wrap dimes. Okay, so same drill. We're going to open 2 or 3 of these. And I mean, honestly, if we open a roll, it's got 10 silvers in it, we'll open the rest of them live on camera. But I have never experienced that in Loomis wrapped dimes. Typically, I just get a bunch of clad with the occasional silver piece. So nothing in roll 1. Let's take a look at roll 2 and 3, and then I'll go ahead and go off camera just to help keep this the size of this video down a little bit. I know it's going to be quite long with those customer wrap dimes. Not seeing anything there. And here's roll number 3. And nothing in there. All right, well, I may be bringing you back when we're done with the dimes and moving on to the quarters. We'll see. So we're going to move on to the quarters. Those Loomis wrap dimes did not produce anything, kind of as expected. I do not have a lot of luck, just like the opposite for nickels. I don't have a lot of luck in customer wrap dimes. I'm sorry, Loomis wrap dimes, so I much prefer the customer wrapped, and today they really paid off. We had 18 silver dimes. I will put the actual silver value of this on the screen based on coin apps and today's spot price, which as of me filming this morning, it was like $33.50, $34 a troy ounce, which is just crazy, which is great for us silver stackers because it just means our silver's worth a ton of money. But this is the most silver dimes I've ever found in one sitting, so I'm super excited. Of course, we also found that kind of weird kludgy dime that I already showed off, but we're going to go ahead and get into the quarters. Quarters, in my opinion, are some of the most fun things to hunt because there's so many DDOs, DDRs, there's West Point quarters, there's San Francisco business strikes, and of course there's silver. So 1964 and earlier is what we're looking for. And just like in the dimes, it would have that solid silver edge. I'm going to go ahead, like the dimes, we're going to edge hunt a couple of these just in case. Maybe whoever rolled those dimes maybe rolled some quarters as well. And then I'll go off camera And we will hunt these like I do most of my quarter hunts, bringing you in only for the finds, assuming we have some. Uh-oh, I heard it actually on the way out. Look at that, dead center of this quarter roll. Boom, 3 silver quarters. Oh my goodness. And this, I mean, again, I don't find a lot of silver quarters, all 64s. Let's see, no mint mark, no mint mark, no mint mark. So we've got 3 1964 90% silver quarters, and we're on roll number 2 of these quarters. All right, we may be opening all of these live as well, or call it recorded on camera, not off camera. This is a beautiful bicentennial. Look at that thing. That thing's like untouched. That's gorgeous. We'll put that aside. That's a Philly. We're looking for the Denver DDO on that one, which that is in our search list. But let's push these aside and keep opening rolls here. Maybe I'll just open up all 10 and just get them on the table, and I'll bring you in for the finds as we get them. But this is pretty cool. Finding silver in the quarters and the dimes. Unfortunately, we didn't find any in the nickels. The war nickel would have really finished it off for us. Let's see here. That's empty. So no silver there. Getting into roll number 5, it looks like. And I'm going to run out of space on this mat. It's going to make it a little hard for me to open these on camera. So what I'm going to do here is move this one to the side just to leave me some space here, so you guys can see everything. Come on. Now I'm excited. I'm thinking there's going to be silver in every roll, and so far it's just been that one. So nothing in there. All right, well that one was a red roll. Maybe we'll get lucky in this one. What about you guys? When you get customer rolls, do you get excited when you see different styles of wrappers? Because I don't get the red ones a whole lot. And usually when I do have decent scores, they're always in funky wrappers, like they've been in somebody's coin collection for years. You know what? We're going to open this other red one. Let's go ahead and do it now while I still have room. Oh, I heard it. There it is right there. I got the shaking this thing over. I think we got at least 2. At least 2. There's one here. It's another 1964. Again, no mint mark on the back. And then I heard one over here. I'll just show it to you right there in the middle. There it is. Got another 1964. Again, no mint mark. All Phillies. So that makes 5, $1.25 in solid 90% silver quarters in 9 rolls. So at this stage, I'm almost going to call it customer wraps are going to win, because I don't care what I find in those Loomis rolls unless it's 5 more silvers to call it the win. All right, here's roll number 9. See if we got any more in here. No, we got some shiny stuff, but no silver. And here is roll number 10. And I'm not seeing silver there either. All right, well, I'm going to do my more typical coin roll hunts now. We're going to go back through each of these, and I'll try to do them at least in order. I'll call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 10. I know that's not how I opened them, but as I find things, I'll be sure to bring you in. We'll talk about it, because with quarters in Atlanta, so many Philly mint marks, so many errors to find. So we'll show them to you as we find them. So we got through those 10 customer wrap rolls, and you'll see there's a lot of stuff up here, but none of it's very special. I was actually kind of surprised to not find any die chips or die cracks or anything like that throughout. Of course, we're not going to complain about finding 5 1964 silver quarters. At today's spot price, these things are over $6 a piece. Based on coin apps, these 5 quarters alone are worth $30.77. So this is a win already in those customer wrapped quarters, and these are the best customer wrapped quarters I've ever opened in the 4 or 5 years I've been running this channel. So 4 quarters is crazy. I want to say I went an entire year once to find 4 quarters, so to find it in 10 rolls is really darn good. We did have 2 Denver bicentennials. We had a whole slew of really, really nice, not all of them, but really, really nice Philadelphia bicentennials. I'll hang on to the best ones of those, and we'll send the rest back, but I'll count those up so we can compare to our Loomis wrapped rolls. We did get one of the new 2024 Patsy Takemoto Philadelphia's. I think I've already got that for my book, but I did want to pull it because it was the only one. We had a couple of early, like 2009. Let's see, we had three 2009s, a 2011, and actually here's a Guam 2009 as well. These are really tough to come by, so I typically hang on to those, and I've been making rolls of them. Again, they're just hard to find in really good condition. And like I said, they're very low mintage, so I usually hang on to them. Same thing with the 10s, 11s, and even some of the 12s. And I did get 2 potential book fillers, and we'll check that at the end of the quarter. Just a really nice Philadelphia, New Mexico here from 2008, and a really nice 1996 Denver, both in really, really nice condition. We'll keep those aside and see if they're going to upgrade our books. But with that, we have just 10 rolls of Loomis wrap quarters to get through. So let's get the camera on the rack and get into those. It's going to be hard pressed to beat this. So here they are, and like all the other ones, let's go ahead and get 2 or 3 rolls open here on camera. Just to see how these are looking. Maybe we'll get lucky and find a little silver in our Loomis wrapped rolls, but I'm going to look for anything that's super shiny and jumping out at us that might be a proof or something like that. Nothing in that one. Let's see here. Kind of a gray edge right there, but I don't think that's going to be a silver. No, it is not. And then kind of a really nice Philadelphia there from I couldn't even tell, 2016, I think. All right, so nothing there. I'll do one more, just opening it on camera. There's actually one of the new Patsy Takemoto's 2024 Philly. Nice looking quarter. And the last one. Hopefully these Loomis will produce a few die chips and things for us to look at. And no silver there. All right, well, let me get into these and I'll bring you in as soon as we find something interesting. Well, these 10 Loomis rolls have not been very good. I really haven't had anything to bring you in of any significance other than 2 coins that I'll cover right here, and I find a lot of these. I'll zoom in on these here in just a second, but we've got ourselves an Eleanor Roosevelt with a die chip on the hat. And we have one of the Marietta Tall Chiefs with a little die chip in the hat here. It's the little feathers of the hat. Let me zoom in on these for you, or we'll look at them on the scope just so you know what you're looking for. They're little minor die chip errors, typically worth no more than $1 or $2 in most cases. But we also have 1 roll of Loomis left that I figured we would do on camera. And after that, I'll bring you in and show you all the stuff I have laid out. None of it's special, but it's all stuff that I typically pull when I do a quarter hunt, as I'm making rolls of a lot of this stuff where it could be interesting. Other than the Patsy Takemoto, just because they're new 2024s and I don't get a lot of them. I've got 5 Phillies, 1 Denver, and I think I may need the Denver for one of my books. So I just wanted to show you guys that. We've got 1 roll left to do here, and I'm going to zoom way in on this roll so you guys should be able to see everything with me. Hopefully that's good enough. But let's pick this up and have a quick look at them together. So the things I typically look for, the 2021, we're looking for the die chip in the hat and the DDR down on the cuff, which you can really only see under pretty extreme magnification. The Arizona here typically has a die chip right at the base of the, oops, I'm off camera a little bit, sorry, at the base of the cactus or here just above the 2. I don't see it with my naked eye. Just checking the scope, it's still not there. Let's see here, the 23 Philly. On the Bessie Coleman, typically we're looking for a die chip on the biplane and the NQ's error on the E and the C. Now there is a little tiny die chip on the biplane. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's on the bottom wing. I'll pull that aside and we'll zoom in on that at the end of this roll. Just make sure I'm still on camera for you here. But what you see me doing here is typically how I go through each and every roll. On that 2019s and 2020s, we're always looking for the W mint mark. And there's also DDO on the In God We Trust that I've started looking for. Recently, I've never found one. I know Diggin' Dave has found a whole bunch of them. I am not so lucky. So the Maria Tall Chief, again, we want to look for that little die chip in the feathers, and we've got another one of those. You may be able to see it under that magnification, but again, we'll pull you in. Now the Duke Ellington here, this is a 2009 filly. We always want to hang on to these 2009s because they just didn't make that many of them, and they're hard to find in decent condition. This one has a super valuable DDR that's in the piano keys and in the word Ellington. Again, something I've been looking for some time and just never found. For the 2022, I forget the name of this one. This one is the Sally Ride. I mainly look for the die clash on the bottom where you can actually see some of the face of the coin on the reverse. I've found a handful of those over the years. All right, we got another Patsy Takamoto. 2020p. Now the Airman also has a really good error on it called the Burning Building, where basically the top of the building is just smeared across. I don't know what causes it. I don't know what mint, sort of error causes that, but again, that's another really valuable sort of error that I always look for, and so far have never found. It's one I hope to one day find. So nothing there. Hopefully all this is staying on camera for you guys because I am zoomed way in, a lot closer than I normally do. Not even going to check that because it's ugly. Now the Jovita Edar, there's a big die crack through part of her hair. That's another one that I've looked for a long time that I have never found. The Homestead, of course, has DDRs all through the window. It has snow on the roof. It has snow in the window. It has the leaky bucket. It has all kinds of errors on that guy. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked I haven't found one of those in this hunt. And, of course, this one is the 2004 Wisconsin, where we can have the high leaf and low leaf DDR that I have also never found. Well, that is it. That was roll number 10. That's how I went through all of the other 9 rolls. And we'll take you off the rack and show you what we pulled. So here we go. We'll go through it quickly. I do have 2 Bicentennial Philadelphias. I'll add those to the 10 customer wrap rolls. And as I said, I'll probably pull the nicest ones. The rest will go back. We had a single 24D Patsy Takamoto. That'll go in my quarter book if there's a hole for it or if it's an upgrade. I'm not going to show punching those down in this because at the end of the day, either I need it or I don't. And it's just filling a hole. And it is in the latest women's quarters book, which is mostly full for me. The Patsy Takamoto coins, I'm starting to see more and more of. Of course, they're new quarters, so they're typically in very, very good condition. I'm unaware of any errors on this thing yet. I have scoped a handful and haven't found anything. So that's something I may need to look around on eBay and some of the variety sites and see if we find them. The 2009s, like I said, super low mintage. Typically, we're looking down in these first set of keys and just under the word Ellington for some doubling. Again, super valuable quarters. Have never found one. We got 2 of those in this hunt. We got a 2009 Guam. We got an America Samoa 2009. A 2010, I forget who this is. That's an Arkansas. And let's see here. I think this one was this is the Grand Canyon. I know we had a New Mexico somewhere in here. There's a Wyoming, or that might have been in the last set. There's a California. Yeah, here it is down here. I think we've got the Hawaii. That's what I was thinking of, this 2012 Hawaii. And we have this guy right here, the Puerto Rico, the 2012. The 9s, 10s, 11s, and 12s are pretty low mintage, and they're tough to come by, so I hang on to them. As for my little die chip errors here on the Eleanor Roosevelt, I kind of talked about it. Here, we'll let you see it a little bit closer. But there's that little die chip on the brim of the hat. Not worth a whole lot of money, but I always find those and pull them and put them in tubes. Our Tall Chief, as I mentioned before, we've got 2 of them. But there's one right there. This die chip right there is not supposed to be there. That's a pretty good sized one. And, of course, we have our Bessie Coleman. This one has lots of different variations of where the die chips can be. Big ones can be here, they can be here. This one has just a tiny little die chip right here on the bottom biplane wing. probably not worth all that much money, maybe $1 or $2. The other thing I really like to find is the big NQs error. The best one I ever found, you could see an E way out here and a C way out here. It's not a doubling per se because this EC is inset, so I'm not exactly sure how it happens, but that's the one I'm looking for. A lot of times it's just a little bit of doubling down here on the C, E and C though. So that is everything we found in our Loomis wrapped rolls. Again, we pulled a fair number of quarters out of there, just not a whole lot of value. Even if I were to say each one of these die chips is $1 a piece, that's about $4 worth of stuff. Everything else, not really collectible. It's great if you're filling albums, but you're not going to sell any of that for any real money. And even like $1 or $2, unless they were mint state coins, which none of these are going to be. So let me pull out all the best quarter finds. I'm going to pull out the best finds from the dimes. If you want to see what happened in the pennies and nickels, you're going to have to go back through the video because I'm not going to cover it again here. The dimes and the quarters were really the best stuff, so give me just a second. So we've got everything on the table that's really the key finds of the hunt, and we're going to go through it all really quickly, starting with the quarters. We had in those customer wrapped rolls a bunch of really nice looking bicentennial Philadelphia quarters. I'm going to hang on to those. There were a bunch more. We'll throw the uglier ones back. I typically hang on to these because on eBay, $15 to $20 a roll is what I've gotten in the past for these things. So that's typically, I hang on to them. I make rolls and occasionally offload them on eBay. We did end up with 5 silver quarters in those customer wrapped rolls. And this is a good bit of silver for quarters. I don't get a lot of them. I think I mentioned that earlier in the video. And there's pretty good value here. So typically, I only find maybe 4, 5, 8, maybe 10 silver quarters all year. So to find 5 and 10 rolls is pretty amazing. And that's what makes the customer wrap rolls in this hunt definitely the winner between the Loomis wrapped and the customer wrapped. As for the valuable stuff, I know I just went through it, but let's just assign $1 to each one of these. We made about $4 here on $1 worth of coins. You can check it out on eBay. Maybe you could get a little bit more for each one of these, but you know, if you could, it's no more than $2 or $3. Now the dimes were the really big surprise. Again, this was all found in 10 customer wrapped rolls of dimes. We found 18 of them. I did check the dates in the mint marks, and this 1947D is actually a low mintage dime. I don't have the exact number, but it was like 48 or 49 million-ish, you know, kind of in that range. Actually, I have the number right over here. Give me a second. It is 46,835,000, making this an under 50 million mintage. So this is the kind of thing that I'm going to hang on to. I'm not going to throw this in my treasure chest. I'll replace that with like a 1964 because this dime's a little bit better date than most of what we found down here. Now, as for the silver value, I've plugged it into coin apps, and this video has taken me 2 or 3 days to make. So as I've been quoting prices throughout the video, it's been bouncing up and down. But as of the time I'm filming this right now, 5 quarters, 18 silver dimes. We are currently at about $76.10 worth of silver in this little hunt, which is tremendous considering it's all in dimes and quarters. So anyway, that's going to do it for our hunt. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really like making these mixed coin roll hunts. If you like this format, doing the sort of customer wrap versus Loomis, let me know in the comments down below. I know this video is going to be a bit long because we did 4 different denominations. I spent a lot of time going through coins with you guys on this one, so sorry if this one turns out to be a bit long, but this is a tremendous amount of silver for this hunt. So if you do like this video, make sure you drop down below, leave me a comment, leave me a little click on that like button. I'd really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and you like coin roll hunts, make sure you click on that subscribe button. About 75% of my audience watches my videos and they don't click subscribe. So if you don't mind, click that subscribe button, then click that little bell and select all so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. I also like to say big shout out to all my channel members. Thank you guys for supporting the channel each and every month. I really appreciate it. With that, I will go through, I'm sure I'll get some more half dollars this week, and I'm going back to the bank to pick up some more rolls where I got these. Hopefully we'll find some more goodies in those. It has been 2 business days since I picked these up, so hopefully he hasn't given them all away. If he hasn't, I'll let you know in the next customer wrapped coin roll hunt. So with that, you guys take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.